Hey everybody, welcome to GCRE Live. My name is Gavin Nathan, and I am one of the co-founders of today GCRE. Today we have the benefit of speaking with Justin Conway, who is from Best and Partners LLC in Brooklyn. I would like to just introduce him right now to the call, and then we can go straight into our interview. Hey Justin, how are you doing today?
Gavin, how are you? Good to see you.
I'm doing good. Welcome to GCRE. It's a pleasure to have you here today with us. Um, what's the weather like in New York right now, where you are?
It's actually a rainy day in New York City. Slow commute this morning, but
Yeah.
ready to have a productive day.
That's the way it should be. So, Justin, we wanted to just do a short interview with you today, as you know, at GCRE, because COVID-19 is happening everywhere. You're in a hotspot, being in New York, and especially Manhattan and Brooklyn. So we just wanted to get your views today for a few minutes on how you think everything is progressing along in the New York area, and what do you see happening in the future coming out?
Yeah, so from a commercial real estate perspective, COVID started back in March, and there was kind of for a few months to the beginning of the summer, kind of everyone was on pause. No real buying, selling. There was a few transactions, but owners just wanted to see, and investors wanted to see, how things would play out, they could stabilize the cash flow with their portfolio. And just, it was too risky to kind of make a move with all the uncertainty with COVID. So now, getting in later into the summer, we're seeing owners now, start to move and make decisions because, forbearances can only last so long, and business strategy has to be made to address, some of the new risk factors of tenants leaving the city, retail tenants struggling to pay, and some of the unfriendly laws that were passed last summer make it difficult to, make money in the city today.
Okay, good. So what is the mood like right now with the CRE scene in New York? Are people looking at buying, selling, investing? What do you see happening?
There are always people looking to buy and sell in New York City, but obviously right now is probably one of the most difficult times I've seen in the business, and everyone I speak to, due to all the uncertainty. So that has to be kind of the way you underwrite properties is now changed, where we used to underwrite, as little as like 3% occupancy for a multifamily building in Manhattan or Brooklyn. And now we're seeing investors underwrite up to 10%, 15%, because there's been so much, migration out of the city. But, you from a buyer's perspective, you're having, some new buyers enter the market at lower prices. And they know that the next maybe 2-3 years 4 years are going to be incredibly difficult in the city. But they have a longer term horizon, and they see, I can enter at lower prices. And if I have a longer term view, New York City will always recover. You can make some great deals here in this market.
Yeah. So you think that when it's an opportunity for people who are migrating out of New York City, it's going to be a lot of empty properties coming up? And what type of properties are you seeing mainly coming up?
Yeah, I just actually went under contract for a building. It was a vacant building, 6-unit building in Boerum Hill, Brooklyn on Pacific Street. And we went to market, and within literally 1 week, we had about 10 offers. And because it was a vacant building, investors see that there's a lot of value add or repositioning of the asset. So the building was, very worn down. It hasn't been renovated in like 20 some years. So the investor could come in at a cheaper price, put some capital improvements, make the apartments really nice, and sell it off as condos.
And is that usually, is that foreign investors you see buying it up, or is it local investors?
The buyer was a investor out of Israel. So, there's, different type of investors. I mean, there's what I'm seeing is there's two different types of buyers today. There's the families that have owned in New York City for generations, and they refinance their whole portfolio, and they're sitting on a lot of cash, and they can act quickly. Or there's the, foreign investors or the new enters of the market, and they see that, prices have come down, and they want to, scoop up a bunch of properties.
Okay, good. So what do you see happening post-COVID? Like, what do you think the rest of the year is going to look like going into 2021?
I think the city's going to be a little bit more quiet. The appeal to the city is, restaurants, going out with your friends, being able to, walk to work, bike to work, just all the activities in the city. And with, that being shut down and, restaurants not being able to open at full capacity, I think it's going to be a little bit slower toward the end of the year. But from an investment perspective, I think if you have a very long-term view, you should be actively and aggressively looking at these deals because they are trading at discounts. Prior to what COVID pricing was.
So with Christmas coming around the corner, right? Obviously, and I think it's some like 12 weeks or something like that away, 16 weeks. How do you see the whole? Because New York is very, very famous for being all Christmas, decorated and stuff like that. Is that something that you see happening already, or what is the predictions on how is COVID going to affect Christmas with retail businesses and stuff like that as well?
Yeah, I think I definitely think it's going to have an impact. I don't know what this world is going to look like in December with the election, everything going on. But online retailing has picked up, and people are a little bit afraid to travel. I know the older generation, older population, they a lot of them probably don't want to come to New York City for Christmas, but at the end of the day, it's a short-term thing. I think the virus will figure out a cure or a vaccine or something, and New York City will be back. It's just the short term does look a little rough for sure.
So which one of the areas in New York, because obviously it's a really big place, which parts of the areas do you really focus on? So for the viewers who are looking at this, if they're looking to come to New York City to invest in, what part of the New York City do you specialize in right now?
Yeah, so I focus on multifamily buildings and mixed-use buildings all throughout Manhattan, Hell's Kitchen, West Village. I like those neighborhoods. And then in Brooklyn, I focus on multifamily mixed use in Park Slope, South Slope, downtown Brooklyn. Those are the neighborhoods that I like to focus in, and then also working on a few development sites that we're selling in Manhattan and Brooklyn. So I'm just a hodgepodge of things, but just really in this business, it's about finding, real motivated sellers with, buyers, reputable buyers that can transact quickly.
Yeah. And if anybody wanted to reach out to you to contact you, what would be the best contact details for you?
Yeah, you could give me a call, 646-424-5321, which is my office line, or you could shoot me an email at jconway@Bessen Partners. It's BESEN partners.com.
Okay, great. Justin, well, thank you for your time today and the insight, just to give us an idea of what's happening in New York City. Obviously, it's a really big hotspot right now, and people are wondering what's going on. We really appreciate you being on the show because you like what we would call a foot solely on the ground, actually living it, breathing it, dealing with it day in, day out. So it was nice of you to join us today for a few minutes on GCRE to give us your update on it. But we appreciate it a lot, and we look forward to having you some more on the show as we go forward.
Awesome. Thanks, Gavin.
Take care.